Hallo liebe Erdlinge, hallo liebe noch Nicht-Veganer. Heute habe ich im Interview Lakishon aus Kenia von den Maasai Mara. Und das Interview wird auf Englisch stattfinden, aber ich mache im Nachhinein Untertitel darunter und hoffe, dass das so für alle funktioniert. Welcome, Jack. I'm happy to see you again. Yesterday we tried, but we had technical problems, so we do this interview the second time now. Yeah, welcome to the interview.
Thank you so much, Tim. Yesterday we had some troubles, but today we are going to move on, and hopefully things will work today on. And it is so much my pleasure to connect with you. And we are ready. I'm ready for the interview, and there we go.
Great. Jack, on your Facebook page, it says you're a community leader of the Maasai Mara, you are wildlife protector and environment conservatist. What is it you do in your everyday life? What is your work? What are you doing?
That's a very good question. Thank you so much, Tim. And to start with, I am Jack Lekishon from the Maasai Mara. And I am the Maasai community leader, as well as a young man. What I do personally is that I'm a local tour guide, as well as by professions in the Maasai Mara in a camp, which is known as Base Camp Explorer Kenya. That's why I have been working before COVID-19 has hit the world, before everybody is sent back home. I do also a lot of conservation work when it comes to environment, when it comes to wildlife. I do as well, and this is all my passion. This is what I've studied as well in college. And as far as conservation is concerned, the Maasai Mara host the most iconic wildlife in Africa, which includes the big 5 animals and other animals in the ecosystem. And this is a place whereby it is holding the hearts of the world when it comes to some special species that are found on this earth. And in this case, it is so important for us to focus on the wildlife and environmental conservation, as well as fighting against the climate change. I do conservation education in the schools among the students, whereby I lead tree planting activities, not only in the Maasai Mara, but some in Nairobi, also some part in the Western Kenya. I do the young people programs as well as kids through the ecological trips to make them understand and develop the skills and knowledge of nature conservation, so that as young people, they can learn to conserve the natural resources that are available at this time. As we know that, as I believe personally, that young is the change, and the future is in the hands of young people. And if we inspire young people at this moment, as far as being responsible citizens, not only in Kenya, but citizens of the world, actually we will have secure the future, because it is so much effective to make a change among the young people compared to make a change among our parents, because they're already old and the years are moving on, but now the future lies in our hands. So that is what basically I do, as well as when it comes to conservation, I also do global matches for elephants, for rhinos, and all the endangered species. We can also help the people of Mara to be the local conservationists, to be wildlife watchdogs. I do also conservation education when it comes to students. I have worked through this, or a volunteer through Giraffe Center, which is in Nairobi, and also participated at David Sheltree, where we have elephants orphanage in Nairobi, whereby I have taken a step, and even right now I have some orphans of the elephants that actually acting as their parents, whereby I have to pay to register in a certain amount in a year, so that these elephants can be nurtured before they are released into the wild. And I also lead tree planting activities in the Maasai Mara, and we do this both in the community land, in the parks, because when it comes to parks, you can also find that we have some desertification. And for us to hold or for us to protect the wildlife, we have to protect the ecosystem. We have to ensure that these animals, they have habitats for them to survive. So that's what I do, as well as fighting the climate change. In the Maasai Mara, when it comes to environmental conservation, as far as cleaning our local centers, cleaning the parks, removing all the plastic bags, plastic bottles, and we can use these through some companies where we can give them so that they can be recycled. And this is also one way of fighting the climate change. So basically, that's what I'm doing currently, and I'm so much inspired to work to inspire the young people.
You just mentioned you have orphan elephants to take care of. What happened to the parents? Were they killed by poachers?
Thank you for that question. When it comes to elephants orphanage, this is a non-profit organization whereby they take care of the orphan elephants when they are found lonely, when they are still young, or when they are found injured by the poachers, when they are found injured or getting sick through natural disasters. So they will be able to take them to the orphanage. They take care of them when they healed, or when they are very much okay. Now they can release back to the wild, and this normally being done through the Def Shelter in Nairobi. And most of these orphans are transported to Tsavo East and Tsavo West National Parks in Kenya on the sides of the coast.
Yeah, and you mentioned the pandemic. COVID-19 hit us all worldwide in March last year. What happened to your community, to your people? I saw on your Facebook page that you do a lot of food relief campaigning. What's the situation?
What I can say is that the Maasai Mara people of Kenya depends on the tourism industry as a source of jobs that is actually leads them to a source of income on the rate of 100%. We have special categories, if I can put in this case. We have the people in the lodges, in the camps, which are employed as waiters, as local tour guides, as receptionists. But now, when this happens, everybody packed their bags and everybody has just went back home and just sit aimlessly. And when it comes to the local tour guides, in the Maasai Mara, most of the young people, they have land cruisers whereby they take the guests around the national parks and the Maasai Mara conservancies. But now, since there is no tourists, everybody has parked their cars back at home. This means that the source of income has been completely cut off. When it comes to the Maasai local ladies, or the Maasai women, normally the tourists pay a visit to the villages, whereby these ladies can sell their ornaments, they can sell their bangles, they can sell their necklaces, and a source of income for their basic needs, housing, school fees for their kids. And this has also been cut off because there's no tourists which are visiting the villages. We also have people who have been employed as game rangers in the Maasai Mara National Reserve and also in the Mara Conservancies. But the number that have been working in those conservancies and in those in the Maasai Mara National Reserve have been actually reduced in number. The reason being, everybody is affected. All the departments of tourism has been affected, including the parks, including the conservancies. And therefore, they have to reduce their number so that they can maintain their target, or they can be able to pay those who they can be able to accommodate at work. So if you try to see, now everybody has been affected when it comes to the young people, when it comes to the local women, when it comes to the rangers. Now everybody went back home, and this means that there's no source of income at all. And many families are actually and health crisis, as well as facing a lot of hunger and starving. And this has made me to raise awareness and calling upon the world to join us as a global family so that we raise funds and we'll be able to deliver food in these families in the Maasai Mara. That is exactly what has made me to do this. And up to now, Maasai Mara is a very large area, and I can tell you that I have been doing this mission for the last 1 year, 15 months. And up to date, I have not reached to the end. Some people are there whom I have not been able to visit since I started the food relief mission. So this is actually what is happening, and people are staying at home. People do not have any income. People are able to access even the local shops. They can access it, but they do not have a source. They do not have any money to buy food. At the same time, the fluctuation of goods and services has risen up because of the economic rampant by the pandemic. And this has brought people in dilemma, not knowing what to do, not knowing what to survive with. So this actually has made me to take an action and raise awareness and do a campaign. And this is what I'm doing in Facebook through the GoFundMe account.
Mm-hmm. So right now, or since the last 15 months, you don't have income because there are no tourists, and without money, people can't buy food. So they are threatened by starvation. They're going hungry, and without your food relief mission, people would die of hunger. Is that right?
Yes. What I fear right now is that I fear that hunger and starvation can even kill even more people more than the pandemic.
Yesterday, you mentioned that out of this emergency, people try to find sources of income, and they go poaching. They steal sand from the river to sell, and they do charcoal burning. Could you tell us more about this?
That is a very good question, and thank you for asking about it. Since now everybody is looking a way to survive, life is very important, and people are looking the best way to provide food for themselves. If any natural disaster comes, people always find an alternative way to survive. But according to the pandemic, in the Maasai Mara people, they have adopted some ways of earning income, even though these ways are actually very illegal in some ways. At the same time, it is a way of affecting the environment and also affecting the wildlife. Because one, people are being attempted to do poaching as a way of relying food. People can kill the wild animals when it comes to the antelopes, when it comes to giraffes. Now people are being tempted to survive through poaching, which is very much illegal, which is very much dangerous for the wildlife. And at the same time, we have another way whereby people are looking ways to survive through charcoal burning. This is also another legal activity in the country. And people are getting into the Maasai Mara ecosystem, cutting down the trees, burning charcoal, and selling as a source of income, which is also affecting the Maasai Mara ecosystem. And once this is happening, and then it means it leads some species to get extinct, including birds, including animals, including the elephants, just as what people are doing. At the same time, along the Maasai Mara rivers, now people are getting into the river, fetching the sands, selling to trucks day and night, including even risking their lives to go deep into the waters and fetch the sands on the water table, which is also another ecosystem for some animals like fish, like crocodiles. So these animals also are being forced to move out of water, which is their habitat, and move into the land, which is also leads to be endangered. Maasai Mara, as I just discussed, that there is dangerous animals. We have the buffaloes, we have the elephants, we have the lions, we have cheetahs, and these animals are along these rivers. So what people are doing is that they have first to clear the forest. They have to clear the vegetation around the rivers so that they can create space so that they can ensure that no animals is hiding that can endanger their lives. So you can see there is that conjunction whereby the natural resources are being exhausted, which is eventually lead to the extinction of so many species in the Mara. So I can see that the future for wildlife is in danger, and I can see also that we will be able to face a lot of climate change crisis because of what is happening on the ground.
So the pandemic is directly, of course, threatening the health of the people, but indirectly it threatens the food supplies, it threatens income situation, and it threatens wildlife and environment, because people are trying to survive. People need to find ways to survive, and this goes on the costs of environment and wildlife. So by helping people to fight the hunger by supplying food, you're indirectly helping wildlife and environment. Could we say this like that?
Yes, sure.
You told me yesterday that you got in contact with two NGOs who already helped a little bit. That was $1 Million Vegan, and the other was from the US.
500 acts of kindness.
500 acts of kindness. Could they do much, or
yes.
was it? Could you explain what they could help until now?
Yes, when it comes to food relief campaign, much of the funds has been coming through GoFundMe campaign. And so far, I have received two organizations from the US who have chipped in to support in one way or the other. And they have actually support during the time they have chipped in, because last year, around August, we received support from the 500 acts of candidates, whereby we received approximately 2,500 meals from them. Which was very important for us, and it has helped us to move a little bit. Last year also we received support from $1 Million Vegan from the US, who donated twice last year, whereby we have been able to receive 50,000 plant-based meals for the Maasai community. This year, in the beginning of this year, on February, we were also able to receive the support for the $1 Million Vegan once again, and they were able to donate 25,000 meals. So these are the two organizations that have chipped in so far to support during the 15 months we have been doing food relief campaign.
So I guess the help from those two organizations is not nearly enough. So I want to encourage people from Germany who are watching this interview right now to help and donate a little bit of money, because they can not only help people getting food, but they can help protecting the environment and the wildlife indirectly. So this pandemic is a real crisis, and it's a shame we don't get to hear it from our media. In our news, that people are talking about when can we go back to the hairdresser, or when can we go back to the cinema, but nobody is talking about the tragedies happening all over the world. And I'm very happy to share with our people in Germany your story right now. Yesterday you told me that you try to educate people in your community to go vegan. Why is it that you find that so important? Could you explain to our viewers why going vegan is so important?
So thank you so much, Tim, for the same question. And I would like to say that going vegan is very important. As well as when it comes to prevention of the future pandemics, as we know that COVID-19 has actually made us awake, and we need to stand and say what is the solution so that such a case or such pandemics do not appear or arise in the coming future. I'm campaigning for the Maasai Mara people to go vegan, simply because the Maasai Mara people, they depend on their livestock. And as I said yesterday, this Maasai Mara community, they do livestock keeping, they keep sheep, goats, and cows at homes. And right now, when there is so much difficulty when it comes to food, these people are going back and take blood from the cows, they take blood from the sheep, from the cow, from the goats as a way of surviving. And this is kind of so much critical when it comes to healthy conditions, because meat, especially in taking bloods, actually is a source of so many diseases. Going vegan will actually help us to protect wildlife. People may not be able to think of going back and poach for wildlife. People may not be able to think and depend when it comes to the endangered species in the Maasai Mara. So going vegan is actually very important, and is also an alternative way whereby the Maasai people can survive. Because as you asked yesterday, what could happen if tourists stop moving around the world? Will that be the end of the Maasai people? That is no. The best thing is everybody can be able to move out of the house and make green gardens and grow vegetables. And this actually can be a long-term process of surviving in the Maasai Mara community. But now the main reason is that it will lead to the protection of wildlife, both the domestic and also the wild animals. So this is very important as a way of preventing the future pandemics. And that's why I am going vegan, and that's why I'm campaigning for the Maasai Mara people to go vegan. And it will be so much helpful. I'm getting some challenges when it comes to veganism campaign, because people could ask what will happen if no tourists and we cannot have income to access food. Then if we don't go back to eat our animals, to drink their bloods, as well as depending some animals in the wild for meat. So it's a very critical questions. And this means that some of the people do not worry so much, because we have the wild animals and we have the domestic animals whereby they can go back and depend for food. I also believe that when it comes to animals, slaughter is kind of harassing the animals. You know, animals just feel pain like human beings. So it's kind of a process of harassing. It's not a way of treating the animals. Could be better if they can do an exchange.
Yeah, it's a strange world. You who are depending on animals to survive, because you can't buy plant-based food, you can't get it on the markets because you have this crisis. You try your best to go vegan and to make the community go vegan. And people in Germany who can have everything in the supermarket every time, they're telling me I can't go vegan because I don't know what to eat. This is so strange. So I want to encourage people in Germany to think about what other people in other parts of the world are going through, just because we are eating meat here in Germany and in the industrialized nations. It's very resource intensive. It destroys our climate. It causes pandemics. World hunger is deeply connected with growing food only for animals. And yeah, I think it's a very important thing that we understand this, and that we stop. I mean, we in the industrialized nations stop, wasting so much resources, so that there's enough for other people, for all the people in the world. Jack, I just try to think into the future. When people finally understand that taking a plane to fly to Africa is not good for the climate. I mean, apart from the lockdown, from the pandemic, people could someday understand that flying is not good, and so tourism would cease to exist. People couldn't come, couldn't bring money, couldn't be tourists in Africa. So you would have no income. And on the other hand, it would be better because it slows down climate change. We yesterday talked about what could be a solution for the future of Kenya if there's no tourism. Do you have any ideas what could be done?
Yes, sure. Thank you for the same question. And I'm so happy to share that we must think beyond because we have to think how to survive. And if it happens that people understand that traveling through the atmosphere could lead to the climate change, there is maybe 3 ways whereby I can propose or I can see as a way forward. One, we have the green gardens, whereby the community have to be educated on farming. People can grow crops in their land. People can grow green gardens around their houses, so that people can access even the simple foods like vegetables, like oranges, like onions that is also available in the market. And through these green gardens, if they can start and grow, it will reach a level that they can be good farmers, because you're always learning how to expand or how to grow. And once this is happening, I can say that the Maasai Mara can be the leading county or the leading region that can expose all this, because the Maasai have very big tracts of land, whereby if they decide even to grow something like maize, they can be able to export outside the country through the Kenyan government guidelines or through the Kenyan businesses guidelines. So this could be one way, even though when it comes to green gardens, when it comes to farming, the Maasai Mara people found a difficulty because, as I say, we host the most iconic wildlife in Africa. And normally we have the African elephants, which are actually not friendly to such farming activities. And elephants are very destructive, and they always do destruction to those who have been able to attempt to do farming. Mm-hmm. They always get a great loss because of the animals. So this will lead in a very high rate of 100% what is called human-wildlife conflict, because now people will come in contact directly with the wildlife because of the farming activities. We also have another projects like tree planting, as I spoke yesterday. At the same time, as we look on how to fight the climate change, tree planting is the best option that is currently moving the whole world. When it comes to tree planting, the Maasai Mara, as I say, contains very big tracts of land that belongs to the community, and that tree planting can be done in such plains, because we have even more than 2,000 acres of land without any tree. So if this can be turned into forest, then it will be another way of earning, because you have to start tree nurseries, you have to sell it out, you have to move it and plant and show those who do not know how to grow and take care of the trees. And through these ways, kind of businesses can also develop, because start from the tree nursery, you have to have those people who can be able to plant the seeds, those people who can water, those who can pump water from the rivers or from the boreholes for the tree, for watering the trees, people who can transport where the trees are needed. So it's kind of a business, and is also a way of fighting the climate change. Secondly, we also have things to do like recycling of waste. We have the plastics. We have, as we do, for example, clean up in national parks, in the Mara conservancies, in the local centers, all this waste, most of them can be recycled. And this can be a source of jobs for many people in the Mara. When we do a local center cleanup, and then what we get like plastic bags, and then in the communities itself, they do not recycle themselves. They have to sell it, and they have to be transported to Nairobi for recycling. It's the same idea of recycling can also come on the ground. They need to transport to the Nairobi, then they can also develop or they can buy such machines, and they can do it locally. So those are some of the ways that people can actually have as an alternative way of surviving when it comes to the question you have just asked.
Mm-hmm. Of course, the money to pay people for growing trees and for seeding them and watering them, pumping water, must come from somewhere. And yesterday we thought about what would be if the industrialized nations who emit tons of CO2 would pay fees for emitting greenhouse gases, and those fees would be given to people who grow trees, who grow CO2 sinks, carbon sinks, because when you take out carbon of the air, that's the contrary of emitting carbon. So money should be diverted in this direction, I think. A future world could function if greenhouse gases were some kind of currency. So when you emit, you have to pay, and when you sink carbon out of the air, you could receive money. That would be a solution if there's no more tourism.
Yes, maybe in addition, I can just say that if tree planting campaign can be done in the Maasai Mara, such that the big tracts of land that are plain can get greening. The global family can also be able to chip in, because if you campaign if you campaign even through online, like through Facebook, through the internet, someone from the Germany can also donate and plant 2 trees, and the trees can be planted on behalf of that person who is in another world. So it's also a way whereby the global family can come together and make, for example, the Maasai Mara a green land. So can also be a source of income in that way when people decide to plant trees, when they can donate 2 trees, 1 tree, family forest, that can be done as well.
Yeah, that's a great idea. For example, as present for birthday, give a friend a present with a certificate. With this certificate, we planted a tree in Kenya. That's a great idea. Yeah, if the politicians are not fast enough with distributing the fees for carbon emissions. Yeah, a big problem in growing trees, of course, is having enough water to water them. And there again, we come back to veganism, because the animal agriculture is using most of the world's fresh water. And so going vegan too helps us to save water, which we urgently need to grow trees and to reforest the earth.
Maybe before we move on, I can just add on something else. Because you have talked about the droughts, the source of water. The Maasai Mara also experience such kind of long droughts, whereby sometimes it forces people to move from one place to another, searching for fresh water, fresh pastures for their livestock. People are actually starting to learn about boreholes, and right now this is happening majorly on the side of conservancies, whereby the idea has been brought up. There is boreholes, and the community and the wildlife are benefited directly in the boreholes as a source of water. So when it comes to the drought or the green gardens or tree planting projects, boreholes can be used as a source of water during the dry season, as well as through Mara rivers protection against sun fetching. and also against the burning charcoal, and also against the cutting trees along the Mara rivers as a way of creating more space for self-protection. And once this can also be done along the Mara rivers to ensure that they are well protected, trees are planted along the Mara rivers. This means that it takes so long for these rivers to go dry when there is much trees along the Mara. So those are some of the ways that can also be focused to ensure that there is always water around the Mara ecosystem.
Yeah, trees are water pumps, and they help store water in the roots and in the tree trunks, and they bring the water into the air so there's rain again. Yeah, trees are very, very important. As you can see in the rainforest, the more trees are cut down and burned down, the less rain falls there. Yeah. Let's talk another topic. You also fund the education of young girls and young women in your community. Why is that? Why is it so important that young women are empowered with education and given the rights to decide for themselves what to do and when to get pregnant, for example?
So thank you for your question. As I said yesterday, I'm also focusing on helping the girls, especially from the Maasai Mara community. And I'm running a different GoFundMe on Facebook to ensure that I'm raising the funds to take girls back to school. And maybe just to explain a little bit and why this is happening or why I have focused to do this is because in the Maasai Mara community, girls' education is not so much valued. Girls are allowed to get into early marriages and the education are undermined because in the Maasai Mara community, they believe that ladies or girls are born to be married and find their families and grow their kids. This is majorly what we have as a belief as a community. And this is what I'm fighting against it to ensure that girls are empowered. Girls also get educated because they are part of the future generations. In this essence, ladies or women in the Maasai Mara, they have specific roles or the responsibilities that are recognized as part of their work. One, their work is to build their houses, to cook for their husbands, to take care of the cows, looking after the cows, after the sheep, and just stay aimlessly in the village. But the world is changing, and it's good for us to change as well on how things are going. We must see a difference. As I said yesterday, I'm focusing to empower the young people through conservation education, knowledge and skills of conservation, importance of conserving the natural resources, and even through the food relief. If I can just a little bit mention about it, the team that I'm working with is the young people. I'm not working, even though I have the village elders who help to make the decision, who make sure that there is equal distribution of food to the families that are most in need. But those who are doing the services, those who are delivering, those who are distributing are the young people. Why? Because I would like to make them grow, to let them know that we are the pillars of the community. We are the pillars of the future generations. And therefore, we have to stand as young people to make a change, to empower ourselves, to empower our community, and also the nation and the world at large. So on the same essence of girls' education, they can also be leaders. They can also be co-decision makers. And they can be also source of income in their families because when girls are educated, they get jobs. And when they are married, they can also be source of helpful in their families. They can as well get jobs. They can feed their families. Despite or in addition, in the family roles, together with their husbands. Now it will be a double portion on the table when both teams work together, when both teams are getting jobs. So going against the spirit of education that is being undermined among girls in the Maasai Mara community. And that's why 95% of the young people I'm working through the food relief programs are the girls, because I'm trying to open up their eyes, open up their ears, open up their minds, and let them know that you are so important and you deserve to get education so that we can be able to come back and help our community. So that's why I'm raising a lot of campaign to ensure that those who are not getting opportunity to school, I can pay for their school fees. I can help them to get school uniform so that they don't stay in the villages. In the Maasai Mara community, when a girl reaches even 12 years, they assume they are ready to be married. So you can see that that is not a wife and that is not a child. Of course, that person has been damned when it comes to thinking, when it comes to being focused, their goals get distracted in life. So that has actually made me to rise up and ensure that I'm fighting for their rights, I'm fighting for their freedoms, and especially through the education. Mm-hmm. Maybe if I can just add in additional, is that most of the girls in our community, they go through female genital mutilation, which is against the girls' right. So I'm also raising awareness that this should not be the case because it's a way of harassing young ladies. And once a lady is circumcised, and then the next step, they have to get married, of course, which is very wrong. And that's why I'm ensuring that those who are not even getting parental support to go to school, they have to go to school. And because when you try to see if we have some girls who are willing to study, who are willing to go to school, but they are not getting support from their parents because they want them to get early married, then these always girls are running, seeking for help. And I'm so much glad that I am here and I'm raising awareness even through the global family so that we can come together and change our community as well through girl-child education. So that is what I can say when it comes to girl-child education through empowerment.
This is great work you're doing. Can you tell our viewers again how much money do you need, for example, for a sponsorship for one girl for a year to send her to school for the school fees? How much is this?
So thank you for your questions, and I think I've not made it a very clear clarification yesterday. Yes, as I said yesterday, so far I have 55 girls on board whom I'm helping them through the education. And out of the 55, 15 girls have already received fully sponsorship through a kind donor whom I met through Facebook. And 40 girls right now are the number that I'm raising funds through the GoFundMe to ensure that I'm meeting their needs. And this goes at part term because according to Kenya education calendar, we have 3 terms in a year. One, the first term starts from January to April, and the second term starts from March to August, May to August, sorry. And then that term, which is the end of the year, starts from September to November. So that is the cost of one girl to school. And $3,300 US, I mean, as I said yesterday, is for one girl. But this means for a girl which is in secondary level. $300 US for a girl who is in secondary level, and those who are in primary level is $180 US.
Okay, but you need this money 3 times a year.
Yes, 3 times a year.
Okay, but of course, every euro our viewers would donate to the GoFundMe campaign would be pooled, and so in yeah, in addition of all the donations, you can pay the school fees. So, but if someone would like to sponsor one person, two persons, three persons, yeah, this is the amount of money we need. So 180 euros 3 times a year for a girl in primary class, and 300, no, not euros, but US dollars, 3 times a year for a girl in the 2nd grade, right?
Yes, in the 1st grade, which is primary level,
yeah,
$180 US, and those who are in secondary 2nd level is $300 US.
Okay.
Yes.
And let's talk about the GoFundMe campaign for the food relief again. You said, as I recall, for a family of 3 persons, you need $18 per month to feed them. And for a family of 5, you need 35 US dollars per month.
Yes, sorry, there is a little correction. I said yesterday for a family of 3, and then 18 US dollars for a family of 3, and then 25 US dollars for a family of 5. Both of them approximately for a month.
25, not 35. Okay.
Yes.
So for German people, this is not very much money, especially viewed on a month, because when we go out and buy 5 coffees, it's the same amount of money. So I want to encourage people to spare some coffees and donate the money to Kenya, because feeding the people there is first and foremost a humane deed, and it helps people not starving. And indirectly, it helps our nature and our planet and our future and the wildlife to be protected from people in need who are desperately searching for ways to survive. So if we feed the people, we can prevent them from doing harm to the environment. I thank you very, very much, Jack, for your kind words, for your work, for everything you do. It's a pleasure talking to you again today. We had the same interview yesterday, but unfortunately the computer didn't record it. Thank you very much. I hope that many viewers are encouraged to donate some money and to see which great things you're doing. And the last thing I want to say is, even if you can't send money because you don't have enough and it's not possible for you, going vegan is the most important thing you can do, because you can slow down climate change, which is affecting people in the most affected areas around the equator. You can prevent new pandemics from being created, so you can prevent future crises like these. You save water if you go vegan, because water is a very important resource for planting trees, for growing new wildlife habitats, for growing carbon sinks. So going vegan is the first and effective way to help. And of course, for direct and immediate help, we can use all the money we could spare for feeding the people in Kenya. So thank you again, Jack. I want to give you the last words in this interview. What would you like to say to our viewers in Germany?
Thank you so much, Tim, for this moment that we have been having yesterday and today. And maybe what I have to tell the people in German, that let us go vegan, let us fight the climate change, let us prevent the future pandemics. And we can only do this through climate change, fighting against the climate change and going vegan. And also for those who are able to chip in and support our programs, for those who are interested to support girl-child education, you have this opportunity. For those who are able to support food relief, you have this opportunity, and let us stand together as a global family, because I believe that when we come together, great things happen. When we come together, we can change the world. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Asante sana, Jack.
Karibu sana team.
Thank you.
Karibu
Bye-bye.
is welcome. Kwaheri, bye.
Swahili.
Kwaheri.
Swahili. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.